That's it. I'm getting me mallet. And by mallet, I mean mean words to talk about ticket prices. I had a whole stream dedicated to just ranting about ticket prices the other day, like some kind of crazy guy who yells at clouds. But it is outrageous how expensive it is to go to concerts now, for at least for like larger bands and performances. I know this is nothing new, it's not brave, I'm not going to be blowing the lid off of this operation or enlightening anyone here with a third eye awakening. I'm just here to add to the endless pile of tomatoes that people rightfully toss at Ticketmaster and just these crazy absurd prices that are becoming more and more normalized and more expensive. So I had a whole stream dedicated to this. Well, it wasn't the whole stream, but like an hour and a half of a stream dedicated to this topic. And yesterday, I bought some concert tickets for a band that I really want to see. And do you know how much those tickets were? Only fueling the fire in my soul about this. 250 bones a pop. For decent seats. Not great seats. I'm not backstage getting a hand job from the band or anything. I don't have VIP access to watch them goatsy at me. I'm not on the floor. I'm not front row. I'm not in the fucking pit. I am on just below the second story. So that means if there is an average height dude standing in front of me at 5'10", I'm not going to be able to see the stage. I'll have to peek over his shoulder like a curious little gopher. Like I'll have to stand on top of a seat just to look at the stage. And I paid $250 for those seats. Am I stupid? Yeah. But am I wrong for thinking that that's really expensive for seats that are only mediocre? Mediocre? I don't think so. I think things are just way too expensive when it comes to this industry. It's a goddamn scam and we're all being schmeckeldorfed by it. They're raw dogging our piggy banks knowing full well that the tickets are still going to sell. Like, I'm not here just to regurgitate everything everyone already knows about Ticketmaster, but all of those like fees and nonsensical baloney fish paste just to keep driving the price of tickets up is downright criminal. Like, that shit should be, whoever came up with that needs to be thrown in the slammer, just institutionalized. It's fucking silly. Before I dive too deep, let me just go ahead and bring you up to speed on why I even started ranting about ticket prices even before purchasing these new ones. It was the My Chemical Romance tour or whatever that's going on, where they had a lot of shady dealings going on with those prices. So I'm going to play some clips from that stream, and maybe some of you will learn a thing or two here that it's actually not just Ticketmaster that's responsible for this. Bands themselves are actually oftentimes the ones behind these crazy prices, where they have something that's dynamic, where if there's more demand for the show, the price of the tickets go up. It's very exploitative, and it's very anti-consumer and spitting in the face of fans. And Ticketmaster, one of the big things they offer is being the fall guy. They know they are hated. They know that their shit stinks and no one likes it. So they actually act as a shield for the performers, where any flack that would be directed at the band for the ticket prices instead falls on Ticketmaster's shoulders, and they take it with an iron fucking chin and a puffed out chest. It is literally that meme of the soldier blocking bullets with the child sleeping. That is something Ticketmaster willingly does for the performers, even when the performers are oftentimes the ones that elect to do things like dynamic pricing. But then there will spawn an even more egregious case of greed that the band has no control over. Resellers. Ticket scalpers. So, in the case of like My Chemical Romance, for example, while the ticket prices were fucking bananas, absolutely bonkers, what ended up happening is, even with the dynamic pricing model, resellers swooped in like a plague of locusts and snatched up all of the tickets that they could get their grubby little mitts on. So even though the prices were very expensive, scalpers came through and bought as many as they could to turn around and resell them for like 5x the price, which is why you saw some crazy numbers for tickets there, such as things like $1,000 for like bad seats and up to $7,000 for good seats, because of the people that are reselling it. Scalpers are like one of the most unifying creatures on this planet. Everyone hates them. It doesn't matter your beliefs or where you're from. Everyone is unified in their disgust for scalpers. What you just said about Ticketmaster being the fall guys, 1,000% the biggest thing people don't understand. Ticketmaster's biggest service is being the punching bag for artists charging the insane prices. And that's what I just was learning about right before stream, which is why I wanted to talk about like the whole wild world of ticket prices. Because everyone knows Ticketmaster sucks. Everybody knows that, right? Who doesn't hate scalpers? Like everybody knows that. What I didn't know, here, we'll just go ahead and start getting into it. What I didn't know, in a case like this, where My Chemical Romance tickets are like $700 for like not great tickets, like a not great area, like it's not Ticketmaster. So My Chemical Romance is doing fluctuating demand pricing. So the bigger demand, the bigger the price. That's their decision. That's entirely My Chemical Romance's decision. So this article talked about it a little bit down here, where according to the screenshot of the Ticketmaster website, tickets were priced anywhere from $63 to $695. The ticket prices soared later on in the sale, prompting speculation among fans that the band had opted into dynamic pricing. The controversial practice inflates ticket prices based on demand, and it's now understood that it can be turned on or off by artists. So while Ticketmaster rightfully is like a spittoon that everyone takes turns hawking loogies in, it is a lot of the times, it seems, the band's decision for outrageous prices. Like, dynamic pricing is something My Chemical Romance decided on, or at least whoever manages them. I mean, I still listen to a couple of their songs, like Helena, Ghost to You is their best one. But I mean, I would never pay prices like this. Holy. My pit ticket for My Chemical Romance was nowhere near this much. This is an hour after I bought it. Fuck resellers. $7,000 is a whole car. Section F, row 2, $6,700 for a My Chemical Romance ticket. So with the My Chemical Romance example, this is the one that really prompted me to talk about this whole thing and try and learn more about the inner workings of this enigmatic machine of greed that is concerts and Live Nation and Ticketmaster and all that. So you can see the tickets started at $63. It started at that price, but as more and more people were trying to get them, the price started to go up and up and up until eventually it was all resellers, it seems. So resellers then started to relist the tickets for thousands of dollars. Now, I recognize that the decision to opt into dynamic pricing model didn't really affect scalpers here, because they were going to engage in this fish paste no matter what, but it did affect fans, because if you got there early enough, you got a reasonable price, but if you got there even like an hour later, good heavens, I hope you've got some items to sell if you want to try and make it to that concert to afford it. It's pretty crazy. And then, of course, resellers made it even more absurd, just unhinged. Now, there is a lot of examples of this being kind of a hot button issue that I was pretty unaware of. Oasis found themselves in the septic tank earlier this year for dynamic pricing. I didn't even know Oasis was back with a comeback tour, but they did dynamic pricing and a lot of people criticized them for it. And Taylor Swift actually refused to use dynamic pricing for her tour. So it is an option the artist has if they want to do dynamic pricing or not. Now, I do think there are going to be cases where the artist won't have a say. Their management team or whoever is going to force them to do it, like maybe it's in their contract for the tour or something. I definitely think that's super possible, especially considering that Live Nation and Ticketmaster are one. They are joined. The Ticketmaster owns Live Nation, which I still cannot believe was allowed to go through. But, you know, hey, I'm not Big Brother here, I guess, but to me that seems like a bit of a conflict. That seems like a little bit of monopolization, but that's just some goofball, idiot, small brain, smooth brain guy saying that, I guess. But again, I do think given that relationship there is definitely some things in contracts that will probably prevent artists from electing not to use dynamic pricing because you stand to make significantly more money. And by making more money for the artist, you're making more money for Ticketmaster and Live Nation. So it feeds everyone. And I'm guessing someone with star power of Taylor Swift's size can basically do whatever the fuck she wants. If she says she's not doing dynamic pricing, then dynamic pricing is vetoed. It is banished to the shadow realm. There is not a force of nature on Earth that could change that at that point because she just has that much leverage in the industry, and I don't think there's a ton of other artists that will have that kind of power, that luxury to be able to say no if it's forced upon them by the label for their tour. So I recognize that maybe it's not always the band's decision, but in the case of My Chemical Romance, I think this was their choice, and I think in the case of some other artists, and notably Robert Smith from The Cure, talked about this recently, saying that the dynamic pricing is a scam driven by greed, saying that artists know, they all know, and if they say they don't, they're either stupid or lying. It's just driven by greed. So this is one of those things I was mentioning earlier where there are artists that absolutely just say, we're going to do dynamic pricing, knowing full well that Ticketmaster is going to be the one that takes the heat, not them. So they get to have their cake and fuck it too. And that's just not good because dynamic pricing is bad for the fans. Of course, scalpers are also a sinful affront to God, but that's an issue probably dove into at a later date. All I can say for certainty is that ticket prices right now are nuts. Like, actually nuts. So yeah, I just wanted to rant about this a little bit. Big fuck you to Ticketmaster and scalpers, I guess. That's really about it. So yeah. It's been a pretty interesting couple weeks for recalls. I just talked about the Costco butter stuff, and now Mattel has had to pull thousands of its Wicked dolls from the shelves because they sent them out with the wrong URL on the box. The URL that got shipped on the box goes to an adult website, which apparently had the site going plus ultra as they experienced a huge surge in traffic that they hadn't seen in 12 years at least. The porn site it links to is called wicked.com. And I talked about it on stream. I'll show some clips from that where I dive in a bit deeper. But initially when I was reading the story, I didn't recognize the site. I thought it was just one of those millions of nonsense, completely barren wasteland porn sites that spring up, fucking quirkyperky.com. But when I actually visited it, I had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Like, synapses were firing. I got transported back in time because I remember it from the early 2000s. Wicked porn has been around since before the Big Bang. It's older than dirt. It's the porn equivalent of Galactus, just this primordial being that always has been. It was established in 1993, which means the porn is older than the book that the musical is based on. The book came out in 1995 and the play was in the 2003 era. So the actual porn site that it links to is like the OG genesis of Wicked. Of course, it has nothing to do with the play or anything, but I just found that to be so interesting. I didn't realize how old it was. I knew it was old as shit, but this blew my mind. Anyway, though, let me dive in a little deeper on exactly what happened with this mishap. Did you see how Mattel put the URL to a porn site on all of their Wicked movie dolls? Mattel is pulling all the dolls from the shelves. Is that real? Or is that like a conspiracy? Are you serious? No way. What? Mattel apologizes for link to porn site on Wicked movie dolls. Come on, is nothing sacred anymore? I can't even buy a doll without having melons in my face anymore. Give me a break. Jeez Louise. As soon as I'm done with this ad, I'm sure I'll get to see a great news segment covering this. Here we go.
For a Wicked mistake, a web link on the packaging for 2 dolls promoting the new movie Wicked was actually a link to a porn site. It was apparently a typo that left out some letters from the movie's website. Mattel said, "We deeply regret this unfortunate error. Parents are advised that this misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children.
What was the website?
Discard the product's packaging or obscure the link."
Wait, so it just left out a couple of letters and it linked to porn somehow? What was the site? The package for the dolls were printed with a web address to an adult film site with the same name as the upcoming movie musical starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. So the site's just... Oh, it's just wicked.com. Sarah Ganau, popular YouTube creator who makes videos about Legos, told ABC News she first heard about the printing mishap on Reddit and went to Target to see it for herself. Thought it was really funny initially, but I was also concerned because this went under the radar. Dolls have been on the shelves for weeks. Oh, these are now officially labeled as misprints. Huge collector's item now. The Mattel Wicked doll porn packaging. It was supposed to be wickedmovie.com. I doubt anyone actually going to punch in that exact URL. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I feel like most people don't. Since this misprint oopsie was made public, Mattel has taken all of the dolls off the shelves and all the major retailers no longer list them. There was a statement from Mattel saying, Mattel was made aware of a misprint on the packaging of the Mattel Wicked Collection dolls. Man, I've said the word Mattel so many times it's completely lost meaning already. Wow, fucking speed ran that one. primarily sold in the US, which intended to direct consumers to the official wickedmovie.com landing page. We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this. Parents are advised that the misprinted incorrect website is not appropriate for children. Consumers who already have the product are advised to discard the product packaging or obscure the link and may contact Mattel customer service for further information. I do wonder how many people would actually call that Mattel emergency hotline in this case, like freaking out, having a panic, just having a conniption. Oh my god, so it turns out I have one of the Mattel doll porn packages, and I don't know what to do. What do I do? What's protocol here? Like, the solutions would be super simple. Like, the only further information you should need from Mattel is if you can get a refund, because, I mean, why not try, I guess? But otherwise, just fucking throw away the packaging. Or if you're a collector, just put it on the shelf with the back of the box facing the wall, so that way your kids can't look at the URL. Or, like the article says, you can obscure it, you can put, like, a piece of duct tape on it, I guess. Or, and this is a crazy one, forgive me for my huge, brave, bold hot take here, you could just be a good parent. If your goose is already cooked, the ship has sailed, your kid already saw the wicked.com on the box, you can just tell them, don't go there, and you can make sure that they don't. You can even make up like a really cool story, like if you go to wicked.com, that's where the boogeyman lives, and he's taking all your allowance, and he's going to give you bad dreams and drain your Roblox account of all of its Robux. There's a million ways where you can ensure that your kid doesn't go to that website if they happen to have seen it on the box. But calling Mattel for further information to see if you can get a refund, I do think a lot of people will probably do that. Like, hey, my kid saw this, I'm pretty mad about it, I want my money back. That's probably going to be the main people that call there would be my guess, but who really knows? All I know is this is an interesting misprint. I don't think I've ever heard of a toy company accidentally linking its consumers, kids, to porn. Now, as mentioned on stream, I also don't know how many kids or just human beings in general see a URL on something and then manually go home and type it in. Like that's probably not super common, and in this case it definitely doesn't seem all that common because these toys were on the shelves for weeks before anybody even noticed it. So probably not a ton of people that got bamboozled and schmeckeldorfed by the wrong URL here, but even still it is a problem that needed fixing. That's all I really have to say about the whole Mattel fiasco here, but I do want to give you a little bonus because this blew my mind that anyone believed it. Someone sent me an email this morning saying that they had irrefutable proof of the paranormal that they saw on Twitter. Of course, that immediately raises some alarms there. That's definitely a bit of a red flag if you're getting your evidence from some random shitpost on Twitter, but I was curious. My curiosity was piqued, so I took a look at it. And it's this video right here, where it says, some people believe that rich politicians keep such creatures in their houses' secret rooms so as to get power and money. Your thoughts on this? And this is the video. It was immediately clear to me that this is an AI-generated video. But even if it wasn't, why would you instantly believe this? It comes from an anonymous source, and there is no real substance here to any of it. If it's not AI-generated, then the next logical conclusion you should draw is that it's a staged little horror short. But for some reason, the person who emailed me seemed to really believe this, and I looked at some of the comments. A lot of people seem to really believe this. It's crazy how desperate people are to believe in anything at all. Let's just read that back real quick. Some people believe that rich politicians keep such creatures in their houses' secret rooms so as to get power and money. So you're telling me some rich politicians are keeping I don't even know what that is, a goblin sea otter? Some kind of weird fucking Magic the Gathering card looking creature in their secret rooms for power and money. How is that little mythical fucking Bimgus going to be giving the politician power and money? How is it accomplishing that goal at all? It seems to just crawl around on a bed. If this was even real, which it's not, it's an AI generated video, but like even suspending that disbelief, how is it doing that? Like, if it was fairy godparents, like if we're talking about Crocker here, then I get it. Crocker's keeping fairy godparents locked up for power and money. Fine. That logic checks out. But this, what? It's just sad more than anything that anyone would believe that. Like, the story associated with it isn't even close to believable. It's nonsensical. But yeah, I just had to at least briefly mention this here because I saw that in an email this morning with a hard believer of that being real evidence of the paranormal somehow. That's about it. So yeah. Nobody mentioned this, but I just remembered it. I went to Walmart today. I may have got a couple of magic cards. Perhaps the problem is it's pretty bad. But I was at Walmart. I was getting some magic cards. And I saw, do you know how Walmart has that as seen on TV rack? I saw something that said, get skunky. And to say my curiosity was piqued would be an understatement. So I looked at it further. It says, get funky, or smell funky, get skunky. And I was like, why the fuck would anyone want that? Who would ever want to smell like shit? Is this a product? Is this like fart in a can or something? Like, why would you want that? So I grabbed it and I started looking at it. And apparently, it's like some kind of cloth or something, perhaps? I don't know. It's like this pitch black bag. Could be anything in there. Its own pocket dimension for all I know. Domain expansion or whatever. And it says if you pour water on whatever apparatus is in there, you can rub it on your body and it'll replace the need to shower. So I bought 2 of them and I'm going to try them to see if it actually, if it makes showers obsolete. Skunky body wipes infomercial. An infomercial in 2023 is a rare thing.
Hot, sweaty. Wouldn't it be great if you could shower anytime, anywhere? But
the voiceover guy has had an absolute stranglehold on the infomercial industry for actually like 40 years now. He is the voice of almost every single infomercial ever. This guy has got the fucking nipples in a vice grip. Anytime you need a voiceover for a commercial, they go to the same goddamn guy. He's the kingpin.
you can't. Smell funky? Get Skunky, the shower anywhere sponges that clean all your lifts and removes oil and dirt from your skin.
See, I just don't believe that. Also, whoever, this is a terrible spot to pause on. Whoever came up with the name Get Skunky needs to be institutionalized. That is a terrible name for a product that's supposed to be about like cleanliness. That's a terrible, awful marketing.
Home before work, so Skunky is the best solution for me.
A hiking, fishing, or camping trip wouldn't
I
be
just don't think it
complete
is.
without Skunky. Skunky is a game
Just
changer
put on
for
fucking
active
deodorant.
Children of all ages.
Probably
Takes a
better.
few seconds.
Camping would be clutch. I could see, like, I know there is camping equipment like that, and I bet it could be helpful in that context, but in every other context, I just don't see it. Plus, I just don't think Get Skunky is going to smell good. I really don't.
Caring for an elderly
You're gonna smell
person,
worse.
A post-op patient, someone with disabilities. Skunkies makes life so much easier for them and for me.
God, just look at what she calls them. Skunkies. Skunkies makes life so much easier. Why? Why? How could you possibly have faith in that?
This isn't like a wipe or a washcloth. It's so much more.
Call
No,
now
it's
and
exactly what it
Skunky
is.
60-second.
Like, I feel like they back themselves into the name Skunky. Someone at the think tank here was like, all right, smell funky? Anyone got any rhymes? Any rhymes? Any rhymes with funky? Skunky! You're fired. We're running it, though. So, hold on. I bought 2 of these. Let's try one. Because I really have to imagine I'm going to put this on. I'm going to have, like, stink fumes coming out of me. Like that episode in SpongeBob with the bad breath, but on my whole body. So, I'm going to fill up my water and grab my Skunky. Be right back. So, you can see why it caught my eye. I also love how they had the gall to trademark Get Skunky, as if people were going to be fighting themselves to try and steal that name or that brand identity. It's like, guys, we need to lock it down now. We have to make sure we trademark Skunky. But yeah, it's the 60-second shower, which I just did not believe them on at all. Also, I clearly wasn't paying enough attention because this is a 25-pack. I thought the whole package was a single Skunky. So, I had no clue what I was buying. The name was just enough to get me to purchase it, because I knew this stood no fucking chance of being good. But yeah, now I can stay Skunky for the rest of my life with fucking 2 25-packs. Alright, so let's grab one. I got 25 bagged showers ready to rip. But maybe I'm writing him off too quickly because of the bad name. Like, maybe this is so good I actually stop showering. Because it's just better. He definitely bought this before. You don't know me at all. No. I went to Walmart, we were getting a couple things, and I stopped to get some Magic cards. And they have the cards right next to the As Seen on TV displays. So I saw a bunch of, like, As Seen on TV products, like tack glasses. I put tack glasses in the cart, and I was like, I'm not gonna do anything with this. But I saw the Get Skunky, and I was like, no. This I have to try. But anyway, here's a dry Skunky. It looks like dryer rags. Like the good-smelling dryer towelettes you put in there. The dryer sheets. No, it just doesn't really smell at all. Okay. Dry Skunky review. Pretty underwhelming aroma. Yeah, it doesn't do anything dry. So let's pour water on it, and then I'll take a 60-second shower. This puppy really does get waterlogged real quick. She was fucking bursting with flavor. So you can see a lot of, oh god, a lot of soap come out of there. It still doesn't really smell like anything. It just erases my tattoo. Imagine. Doesn't really lather the way it did in the video. It doesn't smell at all. It actually has no scent. Do I smell though? Hold on. On my own right now, do I smell bad? Not really. I want to see if it takes away a bad smell. Because maybe it's good if it doesn't smell. But if it can get rid of a bad smell, that would be useful. Yeah, it's completely, it's the absence of aroma. It said you have to use a towel. A dry towel. I don't see why you'd want to leave it on dry, but alright, I'll try. Alright, time to get the Skunky dew off. Oof. Ooh, that's so sticky. Ooh, no way. No way. That can't be right. That's so sticky. I got like a thin film of goop on me. Ooh. You still need water. There's no way. Like the actual pad doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell at all. But now that I've dried it onto my skin, it smells terrible. I need something that actually just smells bad by default to try and rub it with a Skunky to see if it goes away. Do you still have the Anime Girl pee perfume? Somewhere here. I need just something that just doesn't smell good. No, I'm not gonna wipe my ass with it. Are you out of your mind? It's probably gonna give me a chemical burn. I just need something physical for it. I'm gonna end up like naring my butt hairs off with this if I tried that. Your feet? Oh, feet's a really good idea. Absolutely a good idea. Hold on. There's no way my feet smell good. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. My flexibility's really suffering. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Alright. You're getting some feet for free today. We're getting real skunky. Alright. Get in between the tootsies. Alright, the dogs have been skunked. Alright. Let's see if it actually smells any better. Oh, wait, it said 60 seconds. Hold on, wait. I'm skimping. Maybe I have to do it for exactly 60 seconds. Alright, Skunky. Work your magic. My 60-second shower has finished. Now, let's see. Does it smell any better? Yeah. Nope, it smells significantly worse. Which is exactly what I fucking said. Everything the Skunky touches smells like trash. Like, why wouldn't you just use baby wipes? Why would you ever use this instead of just using baby wipes? You also wouldn't need to add water to the baby wipes. And you wouldn't walk around smelling like shit. Are they expired? Do these have an expiration date? It's creating a problem instead of solving it. Like, okay, in the commercial, like the lady who said that she's leaving the gym and it's really helpful. Like, yeah, you're sweaty, sweat doesn't smell good, some BO from that. But if you wipe yourself down with a baby wipe, it helps. This amplifies it. Well, not even. It replaces it with a much worse stink. You used too much water and didn't lather? No, I did. I lathered it together. And I only used a little bit of water. Does it have like an exact amount of milliliters? Because I have 25 of these bitches I can play with, I guess. Look at how much fucking they waterboard it like it's in Guantanamo Bay here. I used less water than that. Like, in my hand, it doesn't smell like at all. It has no scent. But when I lather it on my skin and then wipe it off with a dry towel, as it says to do, it smells like shit. Maybe use the other 24 to see if one of them work. It's not that it doesn't work, it just smells like shit. It's a soapy cloth. It's hard to make that not work from a technical perspective. The problem is, it makes you smell worse. That's the issue. It was worth a try, though. I don't remember how much they were. I think they were like $10, like the advertisement said. I'll stick with baby wipes if I'm ever in a pinch. Let me drag your ass back to the past. The year is 2013. Humanity had just made it past the Mayan calendar's doomsday. We beat Judgment Day, and in February of 2013, I was mid into my college freshman year. I made a video talking about this, but this is the phase in my life where I decided to pretend to be a mysterious anime main character guy around the college campus. Obviously, no one wants to associate with the guy they're afraid is about to light the church on fire, so I didn't have very many friends. During this time, I'm also a digital arts major, but I'm not good at art nor digital arts, for that matter. I was getting assignments for making a manatee in Maya out of 3D polygons, but it came out looking like one of Lara Croft's tits. The point being, this is the stage that I'm setting. I'm commuting back and forth from home and college, but while I'm at home, I'm making videos, and I just recently got into voicing over commercial videos, making jokes at those, commercial dubs, and I made The Real Edge of Glory. A timeless classic, to be sure, no doubt about that. And now 6 years later, I find that the Edge of Glory video I made is being used in the actual marketing push for the Edge of Glory product in Malaysia. So check this shit out. I got made aware of this on Reddit, this subreddit, and apparently, while they're selling this Edge of Glory, they're using my Edge of Glory video as the promotional piece to get people interested in buying it. And I thought, well, it's probably censored or edited, but nope, it's just the video embedded. Look at this. Do you have a drawer full of sharp knives, but prefer to cut your bread with a doorstop? I'm Anthony Sullivan, and this is why I masturbate. It's the Edge of Glory. Now, in the spirit of Christmas and just good sportsmanship in general, full transparency, I'll be up front. I don't think my commercial dub is going to be all that effective in convincing Malaysian buyers who might be on the fence about the Edge of Glory to get the product, especially when those potential buyers most likely don't even speak English in the first place. A bit of a questionable decision to use this video in an area that doesn't speak that same language, but maybe I'm wrong and it is super effective. I mean, if I was a potential buyer of the Edge of Glory who was on the fence and I saw that kind of ad, would I buy one? No, I'd buy 10. Because that shit is how it's fucking done. And it doesn't stop here. It's not just this website. Apparently, and this is anecdotal, I can't confirm this via proper channels, I can't verify this, but I got an email a couple days ago from someone who said they saw my Edge of Glory video on a Singapore TV ad for the Edge of Glory. So, this shit is exploding. Edge of Glory team in Malaysia and Singapore must be making a big push for the Edge of Glory to make it like a household name. Make it like the Kleenex of knife sharpening tools. Make it the fucking Febreze of blade sharpeners. Like, they want to be what Ninja is for streaming for blades. The Edge of Glory wants to be the Ninja of knife sharpeners. And they're using me as the vessel, the one, the voice, the face of the Edge of Glory. And man, I couldn't be more honored. Did they ask for my permission? No. Did they need to? No. I'm absolutely flattered to whoever on the team saw the potential and decided to use my commercial dub for it. That being said, we need to come up with a revenue split here, because who knows how far this will go. Maybe the Edge of Glory explodes, and now all of a sudden you've got the Edge of Glory doing Super Bowl commercials, and my video is still promoting it. You know, maybe I want a piece of that pie. And is Anthony Sullivan involved past this point? I don't know. Maybe I want a piece of his cream pie. All I'm saying is, we'll have to come up with a little something here, Edge of Glory team. Maybe a 50% revenue split for every Edge of Glory sold, you know, equal partners in the Edge of Glory revenue, or 20% if Anthony Sullivan's still on board. I like the guy. We can chop down my rate a little bit here, but you know, I think we have a bright future here, Edge of Glory. And man, was I shocked to hear that the Edge of Glory commercial dub from almost 7 years ago is still pumping dick out there and is now actually being used in the official marketing push from the team. That shit is absolutely wild. What a fascinating little development here. Something I could have never predicted, something the Mayans couldn't have predicted. And man, was I just tickled in my fucking butthole to see that. And I really hope the TV ad rumor is true and that actually is going on TV and shit. And if it is, if there's any Singapore watchers out there right now, if you see it, please clip it and send it to me, because I would be beyond interested in seeing that. But yeah, anyway, I thought this would be a fun little story to talk about. And also, I've always loved doing these kind of commercial dubs. I still do them to this day, and they're still a whole fucking ton of fun. So I just thought this was a really interesting circumstance that was worth sharing with everyone. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Every day we inch closer and closer to the bleak future where nobody owns anything. Even the idea of ownership is looking like a foreign concept of a long-forgotten age, as every corporate vampire zombie husk worm person is scrambling to try and shove this idea down your throat that you will be happier owning nothing. You will own nothing and be happy. I know I've yapped about this a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, but that's because it's been accelerating at such an alarming pace. Look at this newest development here. You can now lease a PlayStation 5. Zoinks! Certified turbo zoinks moment if I've ever seen one. This is all fart, no poop. This shit is fucking foul. You have a plethora of really enticing options here to choose from €10 a month up to 17 depending on the model and I guess the duration of the lease. This is fucking outlandish. This is some hogwash. I cannot believe that we are just seeing this now just out in the open, out in the wild, unashamedly. Now, I was reading through things, and it seems like 36-month contract is what you would sign for this agreement here. And you don't ever own it. It doesn't seem like you pay for X amount of time, X amount of dollars, in this case like 10 clams, until eventually you pay it off and it's yours. That doesn't seem to happen. I don't know this company, but I was looking into them, and it seems like they do this for a lot of tech. And what happens is, when you're done with the contract, you send it back. So you end up just paying significantly more over time. It also doesn't even make a mention of PS Plus being included. So presumably if you want to have the PS Plus service, which I imagine most people would want if they're buying a console in the first place, you're then paying even more on top of that over a long period of time and never actually even own the motherfucker in the first place. And then they just ask you to like send it back politely. What an incredible deal. If you've been hit in the head with a sledgehammer, I suppose. But I think a lot of people might just see, oh, as low as 10 a month. Jiminy Christmas, that's a great deal. That's very cheap. That's better than just, saving up and buying it. And I haven't seen too many people defending it, but I have seen a few brainless goob-soomers that are always latching on to terrible fucking business practices and defending them as if it's their fucking job to do so, fighting PR battles for these billion-dollar megacorps for no reason, no gain, aside from just being treated like a fleshlight by these companies. So there definitely has been some chirping here from these addicts that must consume the goob at all times, no matter what, so they're defending this to a certain extent, but most people are rightfully pushing back on this, calling out how outrageous it is. It's a bunch of horseradish. This is not good. And it's a symptom of the direction most of the world is going, where the weasels at the top of the food chain are trying to get you comfy with the idea that you don't own shit. You will own nothing and be happy. You don't question it. Just endlessly subscribe. Rent, lease, subscribe. You have nothing. Just suckling on their teat forever. And the beauty in the case of the PS5 here, once you're done suckling, you've had your fill of milk, you have to spit it all back up. You no longer even get to keep the console you've been paying for 36 fucking months. You have to send it back. And like, imagine that you're late on sending it back, by the way, and fucking Raylo sicks the Pinkertons on you to repo your PS5 from the lease. It's so ridiculous, man. And the fact that there's anyone that thinks that this is a good idea really shocks me. I understand that renting consoles, renting TVs, renting from all kinds of different places has been a thing for a while, and a variety of different things. It's just that now every company is up in your face and just blatantly obvious about their new push to get everyone comfortable switching to the lease everything model, you will own nothing and be happy model. And in the case of Raylo, with the very limited research I've done on them, it seems like they primarily target low-income households. And in the case of the PlayStation 5, it seems like the goal is to get these families spending money that they ordinarily wouldn't be on a PlayStation 5. A low-income household probably isn't super gung-ho and comfortable dropping hundreds of dollars on a PlayStation 5. But Raylo having an offering as low as 10 doubloons a month, well, now all of a sudden, maybe that family does start spending. And they're spending it on something that they ordinarily wouldn't be purchasing, and Raylo's getting a piece of that pie now. So Raylo's getting paid $10 a month from this family, and at the end of the 36-month contract, that family is paid pretty close to what the normal retail cost is for the device, except now they have nothing to show for it because they have to send the device back to Raylo, who then gets to repeat this process, rinse and repeat. Meanwhile, the family that is now paid $10 a month over the course of this contract gets fucking squat. It's a terrible deal. And it's a smart business move from Raylo because what they are doing is they are incentivizing the low-income households that they're, what I believe, targeting on purpose to start spending on things that ordinarily they wouldn't be purchasing, and Raylo gets to facilitate that and make money off of that. And then that family gets nothing. They end up with nothing. They're just out a bunch of money over the course of those months. And now another thing I saw a lot of people bringing up, I guess is part of like a strategy, is like, you know, you rent the PlayStation 5 right before GTA 6 drops, and you only rent it for like a month at $10 and then cancel the lease there and send it back. So you get to play through the game that you're interested in on a PlayStation 5 for $10. I don't know if that's permissible by the Raylo contract. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It seems like you can cancel it at any time, so I'm guessing it is. So I guess if you're someone that wants to just play a PlayStation 5 for like a day, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then instantly cancel it, so I guess in that case you do end up saving a lot of money if you're someone who only wants to play the PlayStation 5 for a very brief period of time. You could do that strategy if it's allowed in their contract. I don't know if it is or not. Maybe they'll get the Pinkertons back on the horn for you or something. Couldn't tell you. But I feel like the norm with consoles is you get a console under the idea that you will own it long term because presumably there's more games coming out over time that you might have an interest in. Thus, you would need the console to play them. So it'd be pretty silly to keep renting the PlayStation 5 every time a new game comes out. Then it would end up costing you money in the long term. But if you're someone that just wants to play a PlayStation for like a month or two, then I guess that strategy would make sense. I just don't think that's the typical procedure. Most people, when they move to get a console, they're probably looking to have it very long term and actually own it, which this does not allow you to do. I'm not just going to regurgitate everything I've said across countless videos now about this whole subscription-based economy and this whole you will own nothing and be happy territory we've entered across the board. I think as it's beaten time and time again by these corporations. People will just come to accept it, and something like leasing a PlayStation 5 will no longer be like a weird, wacky, wild thing that's outrageous. People will just accept it as totally standard business practice. Like, cause think, not too long ago, Klarna was advertising how you can put fucking burritos on Klarna. You can lease burritos, and now you can lease your goddamn PlayStation 5, soon to be everything else in your life. The idea of ownership dying. Not just dying, being murdered, executed in cold blood, defiled, the corpse being dragged through the streets, paraded, mutilated, and taking the place of ownership becomes the idea, imagination of having something that's yours when it's not and never will be. And I shudder to picture that future where you're the weirdo for not wanting to lease your fucking Five Guys burger. People will look at you like some kind of circus freak because you want to actually, like, own something. Get a load of this guy. This geriatric fossil tried to buy a PlayStation 7 instead of just putting it on fucking Klarna. And this push that the whole world has made to everything going subscription based and like lease instead of own, rent instead of buy, it's trash. Which is why I've become such like a big advocate for the consumer rights wiki. This is something that I've only recently become aware of, but this seems like a truly valuable service, which is just a platform that solely aims to educate consumers on anti-consumer practices that are being integrated into products. Seems like a very simple mission to just give you as much information as possible about what a lot of these shady companies are doing with their services and their products. So I really do appreciate what's been going on over there. I'll put a link to it in the description if anyone's curious about it or want to check anything out there. This is not like a sponsored segment or anything, I want to make that clear. I have just talked about this a lot and only recently had this put on my radar as something that's aiming to help in the fight against this you will own nothing and be happy future. So I've been all for it and just something I wanted to mention here. It is not sponsored or anything like that. Anyway, just another video yapping about this topic. I hope people continue to reject the notion of you will own nothing and be happy. It should not be something that people are just okay with. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya. Thanksgiving is a wonderful holiday where friends and families come together to exchange smiles and food and galaxy gas. A very special holiday where we light candles and put a turkey leg by the chimney so Santa Claus can wiggle his ass down there and boof it as a little appetizer to Christmas. And I know sometimes it can be hard to think of something to be thankful for when you're going through a difficult time, so I'd like to help you out here because I think there is something that everyone should be appreciative of, a blessing that we just recently got. You should be thankful that you get to live in this time period where the worst idea ever pitched was just publicly stated yesterday. Elon Musk just announced that too many game studios are owned by massive corporations, so he's going to use his massive corporation to start an AI game studio. It's finally here, an idea worse than Concord. This is some Powerpuff Girl shit with Professor Utonium in the lab mixing all the ingredients, but the only ingredient here, the Chemical X, is just AI. AI, and AI to create the perfect pile of dog shit. If you're unsatisfied with the games that have been coming out recently, that's totally fine. I'm not your dad. I'm not going to come in there and fucking shove your face into the computer and force you to play them. There's not going to be some kind of covert, off-the-books government agency that's going to kick down your door and arrest you for not liking modern games. That's fine to not like them. How the fuck does this solve that problem? How is AI the solution here? AI has become almost this wacky buzzword that's just this catch-all that can do anything. Like a mythical, magical whatchamahoosit. Like, AI is going to solve every single problem. You don't like these boring, formulaic, soulless games? Well, don't worry. AI is going to make nothing but the best games ever made. How? AI right now can only produce soulless, generic, formulaic copies of things that it's been trained on. You're not solving a problem here. This is an idea almost as bad as garlic mouthwash. This isn't like some new innovation either. AI is being used by tons of weirdo assholes to produce unplayable, irredeemable, putrid cash grab garbage right now. So we know what games AI is capable of producing right now, and they're not very good. Significantly worse than anything else that's coming out. So I don't know who this is supposed to excite. As the richest man in the world, if you're unsatisfied with the games and want to start your own studio, why would you choose the cheapest, worst possible option with AI instead of just assembling the goddamn Avengers to create, like, heaters? Like, just a fucking fantasy football team of the best developers that money can buy and put together your own studio with this talent. It'd be significantly more effective and far more likely to lead to something really good as opposed to just relying entirely on AI to make games. That's wumbo idiot mode stuff. That's stupid. Anyway, though, this isn't the only thing I wanted to yap about. I do want to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a really happy day. You need to make today a great day, and if you don't, you're going to make me really fucking mad about it. So, you don't want to do that. You don't want to see me when I'm angry. I start doing some of that. It's not pretty. And also, I'm going to be doing a money giveaway stream tonight. It's been like a month and a half since the last time I've done one of these, so it'll be a bigger one tonight. I'll probably go for a few hours just giving money to a bunch of different people. If you haven't been to one of these, typically what I do is I just have a Google form that I pin to the Twitch stream chat or the YouTube stream chat, and you click on that and just fill out the form saying like how much money you're looking for, what you're going to use it for, and then your PayPal email, and I just go through randomly landing on them and then just fulfilling whatever the wish was. So I was going to do that as a little Thanksgiving celebration to spread a little cheer and joy to get ready for the holly jolly season of Christmas. So I'll be doing that at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. Feel free to stop in if you'd like. It should be fun. Also, here's a little bonus, a cherry on top of this wonderful holiday. Something to get excited for. Put some butterflies in your tummy. Tomorrow for Black Friday, Godslap hardcover is launching. This is the hardcover version of our Godslap comic series. This is issues 1 through 5 compiled into one nice hardcover so you can get all caught up. This is the first arc of Godslap. We're in the second arc of Godslap now, so this is the perfect way of getting caught up because the second arc is going fucking ballistic. Issue 6 is available on the site, and issue 7 is dropping tomorrow as well. So tomorrow will be the perfect day to get into our comic series, badegg.co. It's releasing tomorrow. Thanksgiving's going to become Godslap Day in 10 years from now, I'm telling you. Anyway, though, I mainly just wanted to wish you all a really happy Thanksgiving. I don't usually make holiday videos, but today I just really felt in the spirit, a little mushy, gushy, gushy and grannies type vibe, and just wanted to say, hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm also going to go ahead and drop a little spicy nugget here on your plate in case any of you haven't seen this news, but it seems like DB Cooper, the DB Cooper, has actually been identified. Like, we finally have real, substantial, overwhelming, nearly bulletproof evidence, fucking adamantium evidence, I would say, because this has truly convinced me that the DB Cooper and Richard Floyd McCoy were one and the same. So a YouTuber was actually the one to crack this, and the FBI has been investigating it, even though back in 2016 they kind of threw in the towel, said, you know what, hogwash, we're done here. We can't know for sure. A YouTuber never gave up, and I think they have finally solved it. Who is DB Cooper? I already have the answer. It's my buddy Eric. New evidence may crack one of America's greatest mysteries. A parachute found in an outbuilding in North Carolina could be the new evidence that may crack the 53-year-old DB Cooper case. Could lead investigators to the identity of the man who jumped out of a hijacked plane carrying 200 grand. Still one of the most interesting mysteries ever. That has a super simple answer. He died before ever even hitting the ground. He didn't survive. That's what I believe. That man parachuted straight to Valhalla. In fact, I don't think he even got a chance to open the parachute. More than 5 decades ago, mild-mannered passenger in a business suite boarded a Seattle. We already know the story. I'm not going to see a fucking lore recap on you. You can go to previously on Dragon Ball Z if you want to see the whole thing. Watch the Lamino video on it. Where's the new evidence? In 2016, after turning over every credible lead and suspect, the FBI seemingly threw up its hands and declared in a statement that it was rerouting resources to other investigative priorities pending any new information, particularly physical evidence such as parachutes or money. Now the agency might have gotten a new break in the case for the first time in decades. The real McCoy. Retired pilot, skydiver, and YouTuber Dan Greider told Cowboy State Daily. What a newspaper. That's like a comic book organization. That he may have found the missing link after uncovering the modified military surplus bailout rig he believes was used by DB Cooper in the heist. It belonged to Richard Floyd McCoy II and was carefully stored in his deceased mother's storage stash until recently. I hit that like baby talk on the stoid. McCoy has long been one of the FBI's leading suspects after successfully pulling off an identical but better executed hijacking in Utah just 5 months later. That rig is literally 1 in a billion, Grider said of the distinct parachute. McCoy's children, Shantae and Richard III, cool name, or Rick, agree with Grider that they believed their father was D.B. Cooper, a secret that shrouded the family but wasn't overtly discussed. It's the site you're on. Bob! You're right! I'm on Cowboy State Daily right now! I had no idea. It's just the first thing that came up. For years, they said the family stayed... What? For years, they said the family stayed mum out of fear of implicating their mother, Karen, whom they believe was complicit in both hijackings. Upon her death in 2020, they broke their silence to Grider after being contacted by him off and on for years. Grider, who has been researching the case for more than 20 years, documented this investigation in a lengthy 2-part series on his YouTube channel, Probable Cause. YouTubers are cracking the craziest fucking cases these days, man. That's so hype. On Monday, Grider released a third video, DB Cooper Deep FBI Update, where he announced the FBI's new and very recent efforts in his discoveries. After watching his first 2 videos, Grider said FBI agents contacted Rick and Grider to see the parachute. It was the first investigative move by the agency since issuing the 2016 statement. Grider and Rick McCoy traveled to Richmond, Virginia in 2023, where they met the FBI agents. They took the harness and the parachute into evidence, along with the skydiving logbook found by Shantae that aligned with the timeline for both hijackings, providing another vital piece of the puzzle. Also present at the meeting was Grider's friend Laura Savino, a retired commercial airline pilot and award-winning author of Jet Boss, a Female Pilot on Taking Risks and Flying High. Savino said the agents were professional and stoic. Considering they had requested the meeting, it was clear they were taking it seriously. Crucial to the discovery are the unique alterations of the parachute that have been well documented by Earl Cossey, a veteran skydiver who owned and provided the parachutes in the 1971 hijacking. Grider and McCoy's children feel it's those small details that provide definitive evidence that tie Richard McCoy to D.B. Cooper hijacking. So he survived? That's what I'm getting out of this? He actually survived and then did that follow-up heist? This man's a superhuman. He should have been recruited by Stan Lee. Let me see what the parachute looked like.
We just solved it.
That's a mic drop right there. I love that. Man's fiddling with his parachute and he's like, you know what? Nah, that's checkmate. We solved it.
Of video footage and traipsed around an investigation, and I produced DB Cooper Part 1. That video did very well and up and on the air and convinced a lot of people. In my opinion, Richard Floyd McCoy was definitely DB Cooper. Because of DB Cooper Part 1, I got 2 phone calls. Huge phone calls.
That's so cool, man. Good for him. I think he probably did crack it. Based on what I've read here, I think he actually got it. DB Cooper was Richard Floyd McCoy, and he somehow survived that jump. I don't understand how. The Lord chose him to be his warrior. I don't know, man. People have been claiming to know who DB Cooper is for years. Yeah, but he's right. If you know the story of DB Cooper, you will know that the parachute is known exactly what they gave him, and he's claiming to have that exact parachute here. The FBI seems to be thinking so as well. The family of Richard Floyd McCoy also seems to think so and has thought so for a while. I don't know. It's pretty overwhelming amount of evidence, to be honest. Physical evidence as well as testimonial evidence. They have his log dates, and he committed a similar hijacking months later. Also true. I think that this is probably dead to rights here. He died in 1974. They still won't find him. It's been too long and the case has been tainted so much. Well, he's dead. They can find him. They can just go to his gravestone and arrest the corpse if they wanted to. But the evidence is overwhelming. Before this, who else did you think DB Cooper was? I don't remember all the people I thought it was. The main thing I've always believed is that he died. He didn't survive the jump. Most experts thought it impossible to even survive that jump. Fucking pitch black, the wind, like all of it was a miracle to have survived, and I guess he did. McCoy's death is actually pretty crazy because he got sentenced to 45 years in prison and escaped by making a fake handgun out of toothpaste and stole a garbage truck with his fellow inmates. They committed a bank robbery together soon after, and he was killed in a shootout with the FBI. Didn't see that in his Wikipedia. I'm trying to quit smoking and I'm losing my mind. Hey, I'm wishing you the best with it. I've got a tip for you. Get hooked on something else, like League. You'll forget to smoke. You'll be too fucking angry at your teammates. Yeah, I played League earlier today, but I actually had fun. But I already know if I start actually playing League, it's gonna be fucking miserable. I smoke because I play League. Alright, try getting addicted to Magic the Gathering cards, then you won't be able to afford cigarettes. There you go. This is an emergency. There is no time to waste. No time for dilly-daddle. Go check your butter right now if you've purchased it from Costco recently. There is a chance that your life is at risk. In fact, if you're watching this, then I'm already dead. Nearly 80,000 pounds of defective, dangerous butter has been recalled from Costco in an effort to save as many lives as possible in the wake of this catastrophe. Costco was selling butter without the label containing information, vital information to the consumer, that butter contains milk. And because of this, so many American lives have been put in jeopardy. Because how are they supposed to know that butter contains milk if it's not put on the label? So they've recalled 79,200 pounds. The FDA is doing their best to save us from this unlabeled butter menace. But it may already be too late for some of the stupidest fucking people on the planet. I highly doubt there's been a single fatality here from the unlabeled butter villain. I would be shocked, but if there is a single person who has dropped dead from it, they probably weren't going to make it much longer anyway if they were too stupid to fucking realize that butter contains milk. Their goose was already cooked. I'm not going to pull any punches, no reason to sugarcoat it. They weren't going to last long in the first place. The only people that have an excuse for not knowing that butter contains milk are toddlers, like actual 6-year-olds, but they're not going to the grocery store to buy themselves some butter. Like, every adult should know this by now, but I feel like we're reaching a point where there's people that unironically believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows, so I guess I shouldn't be as surprised as I am, but when I saw this headline, I was stunned. Absolutely stunned. I thought it was fake. I thought it had to be. But no, it's real. The FDA has recalled 79,200 pounds of Costco butter due to the undeclared allergen. The allergen being milk. Now, to bring us back down to earth real quick, I actually do think there is a positive to take from this, aside from like the obvious silliness of people not knowing that butter contains milk. I do think there is something good here where we have strict labeling protocol and rules around labeling because it is super important. It's a life and death in some cases. If you don't have like strict protocol in place for labeling, you'll end up with like fucking Pink Sauce 2.0, where you have the dumbest label of all time that looks like it's AI generated from Cleverbot, right? Like, the ingredients need to be accurate. People need to know what's in the products they're buying because there could be something in there that could cause them harm. So labels really do matter in a huge way. You need to have these labels be accurate, and in this case, it wasn't. It didn't say contains milk. I don't think it needed to, but it didn't, so they recalled it in order to get the label perfected. So that way everything is accurate. So that is good, but it's still extremely sad that butter even needs that in the first place. Like, you should know butter has milk. It's embarrassing that this was viewed as an emergency that needed a big recall, so that way the butter could have the contains milk label on it. Like, that is something that I don't even think needs to be present in the first place. People should know butter has milk. It's just unnecessary. But since it's been standard protocol on the labeling for so long that butter has the contains milk label, I suppose it can be viewed as a positive thing that they're taking it seriously enough to recall it to put it back on.
Costco is recalling nearly 80,000 pounds of butter because of an undeclared allergen. The butter was sold in stores across Texas and includes the Kirkland Signature salted and unsalted sweet cream butters. Apparently, the company did not list milk as an ingredient, which could lead some people to think it's dairy-free. If you do not have an allergy to dairy, it is okay to use, but if you are allergic, you need to toss it out and contact Costco for a refund.
And then once you finish that, promptly contact your local education center for a refund on all the wasted years you spent in class, because it clearly did you no good, you bumbling imbecile, and then go check yourself into Arkham Asylum, because you are fucking insane for not being able to recognize that butter has milk. The only time you will ever find dairy-free butter is when it is labeled dairy-free butter, as some kind of like vegan alternative. That is plastered all on the branding. There's never going to be a time where you see just normal butter somehow not have milk in it. It's impossible. I can't even imagine a hopeless world where some consumer is so mindless and just such a fucking drone that they go to the supermarket and pick up butter, an item they've been familiar with their whole life, look it up and down and notice that it doesn't say it contains milk. So all of a sudden they believe it doesn't have milk, and then they go home and die because it turns out they're allergic. Like, that's what kind of place is this? The recalled products, which were both produced and distributed in Texas, include 1,300 cases of unsalted sweet cream butter and 900 cases of Kirkland Signature salted sweet cream butter. So none of the butter was safe, because all of it was missing the crucial contains milk label on the butter. The products all come with Best Buy dates between February 22nd, 2025 and March 29th, 2025. Sleep in fear. If you've had Costco butter sitting in your fridge recently, you might be harboring a fugitive. You need to check right now, or else you'll be tossing and turning all night wondering, do I have one of the violative products in my fridge right now? In the trading card community, misprints are worth tons of money. But in the real world, when it comes to real products, misprints cost people lives. You are not safe. If you have any Costco butter, please proceed with the utmost caution. I would recommend perhaps dressing in a hazmat suit before handling your Costco butter as you investigate the Best Buy date and try and locate whether or not it says contains milk. Vital allergen information for your butter. I love how they're displaying the Costco butter here in the articles, by the way. It looks like the wanted posters from One Piece. Like, they got the butter up there like there's a bounty for it, like a reward. And I guess there kind of is. You could easily just get some free money from Costco if you have some of this faulty butter. You could just say like, oh, I didn't know that butter contained milk, and they'll give you a refund, I guess. So, I mean, that's kind of a little free money glitch there if you want to use that. But I will say, if there's anyone that genuinely bought this butter thinking that somehow it didn't have milk, you need to be put on a list for dangerously stupid people. I know I've said that a few times, and I'm only half kidding, honestly. I do feel like there actually is a level where someone is so dumb that it is detrimental to the people around them and could actually just be dangerous. And I think this would be like a perfect way of identifying those kind of threats. Absolute fucking morons that are outraged, like, How could you have let this product slip through the cracks without the contains milk allergen information? You almost murdered my whole family with this. Like, if there's anyone out there like that, that is someone that needs to be monitored, because they are so fucking stupid that it is going to be a problem soon, if not already. Now, they're taking this pretty seriously from what I can tell, and normally that'd be something to be happy about, that they're being, like as diligent on it as they can. Like recently with the listeria outbreak from Boar's Head and all that. Like, that's something extremely serious. That's an emergency that needed to be taken seriously. This is a fucking joke. This is embarrassing, is what it is. That it's like an all hands on deck red alert situation because butter went out there without the contains milk label slapped on it. Because they must think every American is so fucking stupid that if it's not posted on the label, they might be liable for a lawsuit because someone might be dumb enough to think that somehow this butter was in the clear and they'd be allergic to milk and die from it. Like that. Do you know how sad that is? Do you know how fucking sad that is? So the FDA has not put out information on what to do if you have purchased these recalled items, nor has it shared if there have been any illness or adverse reactions from consuming the product. The usual course of action is to either discard them or return them to your place of purchase just in case. So yeah, anyway, that's the big Costco butter breakdown. That's about it. See ya. I recently made a video talking a lot of shit about the Poopsie Slime Surprise Unicorn, which is a unicorn toy that you make take a shit for you on the toilet, and then you play with its shit, which is some slime. And I called it the worst toy ever made, a war crime, the one sin the Lord can't forgive, just a whole bunch of things. But recently I've been watching a lot of inspirational Darman YouTube videos, and I've learned something very important. Never judge a book by its cover. I'm not trying to get too fucking philosophical on you here with this Socrates knowledge, but appearances can be misleading, as the great Darman says, so I had my friend Matt go out and buy me a Poopsie Slime Surprise Unicorn. That way I can experience firsthand the joy and jubilation of making this unicorn take a shit for me. Now, the reason I had Matt go out and buy it isn't because I was embarrassed. I mean, shit, I buy fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards from Walmart, so there is no shame there. I would have no problem going right up to an employee and asking where their Poopsie aisle is. It's just I'm afraid of being around people in this area, and Matt's got fucking nuts of steel, ironclad nuts, and he went out and he was totally fine getting this for me, so thank you, Matt. Now, apparently these naughty little things are flying off the shelves. There was only one Poopsie left, and he checked 2 Walmarts and a Super Target and found it at Super Target. Not only did he find that, though, he also got us our own little slime surprise. Our Poopsie Slime Surprise starter kit, I guess, whatever the fuck this is, a little birthday gift, I don't really know. But I figured we needed both just to make sure we got the full, authentic experience. So first impressions right away, I can tell you, this is the worst thing a kid can have next to the chicken pox. If your parents told you on Christmas they were getting a divorce, it would still be a better gift than getting this. What are you going to do with all that poop, am I right? Now, I'm sure you can hardly contain yourself. Go ahead and amplify that excitement by 100 for me. I'm about to start scratching at my neck like a meth addict if I can't get into this box soon. So let's just go ahead and dive in here. Let's go ahead and raid the public bathroom and check this shit out. So we'll crack this open here. We'll start with the actual Poopsie unit, and we'll save the slime surprise for later. Jesus. She's really sealed in here real tight. Like a fucking sarcophagus. I'll save you, Poopsie! Ah! Come on! Damn it! Fuck. Oh! Oh no. I think I snapped her neck. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Alright. We'll be alright. She doesn't need her neck to take a shit, I guess. Alright, well now that I've hit her with like a Mortal Kombat fatality, I'd say we're about 50% of the way there to getting her out of this. So, I didn't have a pair of scissors, which is why this is like so primitive here and like caveman-ish, like a Neanderthal ripping it out. I can't trim the shit on the back. Ah! Alright. So I hit myself extremely hard in my sack, and, well, that's just a little wake-up call. You gotta bleed for the Poopsie if you really want to enjoy it. I guess the surprise in the name was for the surprise vasectomy I accidentally gave myself, getting it out of the box. Anyway, we got her here. She still kind of works, but I do think I broke her neck. Yeah. Not bad. This was moving around a lot more initially in the box, I think, so that something definitely went awry in there, but that's just entirely my fault for not having the proper equipment. So let's go ahead and check the back and go through what we learned from the tutorial and see if we can start making her take a shit. So on the back, of course, Wait, what? Oh, don't fucking tell. Oh my god. So I just looked it up. There's actually other Poopsie models that don't take shits. They just sing about taking a shit, and that's all. Unfortunately, this happens to be one of those musical Poopsies instead of the actual shitting ones, which is beyond disappointing. I guess I can confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt is if she has an asshole. Let's see. Nope. As you can see, there's no butthole here, so this model absolutely could not take a shit. I feel like I got scammed. Now is not the time. I feel like I actually got scammed. This was $60. $60 fucking dollars. What am I gonna do with the slime surprise kit? I can't even make slime out of her fucking colon. This is the only... How popular are shitting toys? How the fuck is this the only poopsie they had left is the singing one? They don't actually have the shitting one. I feel like this would be the one kids would want. Something that like sings and jingles keys. Not just shits. I don't get it. Well, this is probably the most disappointing moment of 2020 for me, I'd say. I was really looking forward to getting this experiment going. But, well, at least we have the memories, and now I have a cool singing and dancing unicorn that talks about shitting without actually doing it. Well, I guess that's where that journey comes to an end. See ya.